welcome back to the Pants Show, and today I'll be telling you about my most anticipated shows for the 2016 Fringe World. This list is in no particular order and is based purely upon my personal opinion. Definitely no cash for comment. I reached out to a few performers to try and get a little bit of kickback, but I pretty swiftly realised that these guys are fringe performers, so they had no money. I've seen a show by Stuart Bowden the last couple of Fringe Worlds, and he's really one of my favourite performers. His shows are simultaneously hilarious, touching, very meaningful, but fundamentally absurd. I've got really high hopes for this show, and I doubt I'll be disappointed. Okay, so come on, I don't need to tell you why I'm excited for this show. It combines two of my favourite things in life, which are puppets and erotica. Hopefully they dry clean the puppets between performances. So there's not much more to say about that. Okay, I'm super excited for these shows, so I'm going to put both of them in this list as one entry. Nicole Henriksen's an incredibly talented performer. She does alt comedy. Check out her YouTube. You can also check out my review of her show last year if you want a bit more information about the sort of performances Nicole can bring. She's actually doing two shows this year, as I've said. So the first one, Techno Glitter Penguins, should be a normal alt comedy style. The second one, Making It Rain, is more of a theatre performance, I'm led to believe. And that's about her day job as a stripper, so there's something for all the family. Okay, maybe this is more like 12 shows I'm really excited for, but screw you, it's my list, I'll do what I want. So we've got another twofer with Sami Shah, who, despite leaving me here in WA all alone, I'm still looking forward to seeing his shows. Sami's a Pakistan born and raised comedian who, until recently, was based in Northam in WA. He's recently moved over to Melbourne and restarted his podcast, which I highly recommend checking out. If you want to get a sense for his, I guess, style of humour. So he's doing two shows, Islamofarcist and Punching Down, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them both. He's very witty. It's a lot of observational style humour, but almost political observation. A lot of his stuff is anyway. He's been on QI. If that'll get you to his show, awesome. But yeah, whatever you do, make sure you don't miss one or preferably both of his shows. Okay, hopefully you've heard of Barry Morgan and his wonderful, wonderful organ. Barry Morgan's a sort of well-known performer. He plays his organ on stage in front of everyone. He shows a lot of teeth. He's just charmingly creepy and childlike and playful all at once. So I've seen his show last year, or possibly the year before. I think it was last year. And it was really good. He's been on Spicks and Specs, so I'm sure you can find some YouTube clips of that floating around. Really well worth seeing. Okay, the thing that strikes me about Adam Peter Scott is that he's most well known for his Trivia Deathmatch, which is great. Really like that show, and that's also playing, so yeah, let's do another twofer. So check out his Trivia Deathmatch, but the thing about the Trivia Deathmatch shows is that it doesn't really act as a vehicle for what I consider to be, some absolutely outstanding stand-up comedy. He's a really talented comedian, and hopefully in this show you get to hear him talking as opposed to, his special guests. Really looking forward to this show. I'm starting to see a trend here. I'm getting really excited to see a lot of performers who I've seen previously. Most of them are bringing new shows, and in the case of this, where I'm seeing exactly the same show, it's not really. It's an improv show, so they're different from night to night. So Racing Minds are a group of really talented improvisational comedians. So standard structure, take suggestions from the audience. It's a little more structured than you might expect from that sort of format. But yeah, they basically spin you a wildly amusing tale of whatever comes out of the hat, I guess. So really looking forward to this one, as I am for all the shows on this list. The thing is, it's improv, so if it sucks, it's not my fault. It's not going to suck because these guys are great, but anyway, disclaimer. It should be pretty hard to recommend one of these best of Fringe style shows because the lineup changes from night to night, possibly depending on who needs additional drink tickets or who has community service obligations they need to fulfill. But when I saw who was presenting this one, it was an automatic yes. Marcel Lucont is very aptly named. His stuff's all over YouTube if you want to get a sense for how bone dry his comedy style is. And I guess it's a bonus that you get to see him interact with all sorts of other Fringe performers. So it's like a cluster bomb of entertainment. Anyone who's spent any time at the Pleasure Garden over the last few years would have seen this performer, Dado. He's he's a clown. He's I guess a mime sort of clown, if that's such a thing. He performs on a dainty little open air stage. He's a visual comedian. He works the crowd really well. If I'm ever around when he's doing a performance, I'd like to I like to make sure I catch it. Now it's technically free, although be generous if you see the show. Be generous when he brings out his hat at the end, because you wouldn't steal a car, so don't steal comedy. Thomas Ford is an incredibly well-known performer amongst the Perth Fringe theatre community, and as always, I'm really happy to see his name on the lineup. So he's a bit of an enigma. He's a really talented electronic musician. He works a crowd really well. He can seamlessly transition from the persona of a performer at the top of his game to a shattered husk of a broken man. It really is pretty special. So he does a couple of different style shows. I first saw him doing Electric Cabaret a few years back when Noodle Palace was in the old cinema. And I really prefer those sorts of shows of Thomas's. So he's not doing one of those sort of shows this year, though. He is doing his normal crap music rave party, so head along to that if you're keen. This one, Craptacular, seems to be him doing covers of shit songs, so that should be really good. And it's not a Fringe World without seeing at least one of Thomas Ford's shows. So that's my top 10 for Fringe World. Hopefully I've talked about something you're interested in. If not, check out the website for details on other shows and the programs and the venues and the whole event and stuff. There's an additional venue or 3 or 5 maybe this year, and a slight reduction in the size of an existing venue. Screw you people who live in Northbridge and complain about the noise. So stay tuned to the channel for more reviews. I may be able to get a few artist interviews this year, which would be great. And yeah, thanks for watching.